Galatians chapter 1, Paul first expresses concern for the church at Galatia, and he says that he is concerned because the people of the Galatians, they are believing in false gospel. The gospel of Christ had been tampered in the church, and so people don't know what to believe in. However, Paul explains that there is no other gospel than the gospel of Jesus Christ that expresses the truth. And the reason why Paul is so confident in this argument is because of his personal life. Now, in an English essay, in an argumentative essay, the least convincing type of evidence you can use is personal experience, personal anecdote. However, when we look at Paul's life, how he was a persecutor of church and the biggest hater of God, but then suddenly turns his life upside down by dying in it for his faith, then it shows otherwise that the gospel of Jesus Christ is very profound, not just in the knowledge, not just in English literature, but spiritual and objective truth. Objectively, it is profound. Because the transformation that occurs in the gospel of Christ is incomparable to any other transformation. Sure, there are so many other religions you can believe in. Yes, there are so many other gospels that you can believe in and that you can be transformed. Yes, but it's a statistic that those who are religious, yes, they do live happier lives. Yes, but the other gospels that you believe in, the transformation is not as significant as the transformation you see in the Christian faith. Jesus Christ promises us eternal life. Jesus Christ promises us that there's reconciliation, that there's relationship between us and God. Even though that we were sinners and we deserve God's wrath, God's punishment, God loved us and he died for us. That grace is different, right? This God didn't need to come down to this world. This God didn't need to die for us, but he still did because he loved us that much. And that's what we call grace. That's why grace is important in our life. That's why grace is the overarching theme in the book of Galatians. That's why Ephesians chapter 2, it's a different church Paul is talking to. He says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith." Because truly by God's grace, we are changed. So Paul is reminding the church, believe in the gospel of Christ because it is a true gospel and you will be changed.